This is Nurse Hannah, a TikTok mum who went viral for leaving dirty diapers all over her house, and now she's under investigation by Child Protective Services. But not for that, because a clip of her toddler flinching has caused an internet firestorm. Could this be TikTok overreacting, or what if something more is really going on? So for context, Nurse Hannah has nearly 500,000 followers, and her TikToks get really good views. She's gone viral a few times in the past, but most recently she went viral for leaving 17 diapers around her home, which led to mixed responses.
Let's pick up all the dirty diapers I have lying around my house right now. I kid you not, my guess is probably 15. I don't own a diaper pail or a diaper genie or whatever they're called. They just kind of get thrown around my house, and then we just collect them in a bag at the end of the day and take them out to the dumpster. So I've been solo parenting for the last 24 hours, so we're gonna see how many dirty diapers we have just lying around with 2 kids. I promise you, I'm not even exaggerating, this has only been 24 hours. So I'm counting just 4 diapers right here on the coffee table.
And we don't need to watch the whole video. The rest of it is literally just her going around picking up diapers, and eventually she gets to 17. Now, due to the flinching incident that we're going to get to in just a moment, she's turned off all of her comments. So I can't see any comments here, but I have been able to find some on re-uploads of this video. And there's quite a few comments that point out one particular part of the video where she grabs a nappy from under a coffee table. The condensation under the last one on the table. Bro, I just want to point out when she picked up the one from the coffee table, you can see the wet moisture from it. There was a humid spot on the coffee table from one. So you can see there's like kind of like that little bit of moisture. Quite gross, if I'm being honest, very, very gross. But then we have other comments saying, I'm also just baffled, like, are we just changing the baby anywhere around the home? I truly don't understand this at all, how a diaper's literally all over the house. My toddler is in diapers still, and never has this happened. I don't have a diaper genie, but always throw them in bags. I don't own a diaper pail or a diaper genie. You don't own a trash can. You don't own a standard kitchen trash can that you can put them in. Be for real here. And obviously this is a re-upload of the video talking about the controversy, so obviously the comments are very much on one side. But there was a completely different response by some people who started what they called a 17 diaper challenge or trend, where basically they would post their own version of the 17 diapers, where they would talk about the things that they've struggled with during pregnancy and postpartum. So we've got this one that says 17 diapers. 17 diapers means my child got 3 meals and 3 snacks. Her water was refilled when she needed. 17 diapers means every time my child cried, she got my attention. 17 diapers means my child is loved beyond measure and will never be left uncomfortable. You're doing a great job, mama, keep going. And obviously here they're saying, you know, 17 diapers doesn't reflect how the child's actually being treated. You might leave the diapers all around the house, but that's because you're so busy doing other stuff for the kid. Obviously, I haven't given birth myself, but I am a dad, so I know that it's not as easy as get pregnant, give birth, raise a child. There are a lot deeper elements to it that people don't realize. However, I will say that 17 diapers is a bit bloody mental, very gross, and yes, get a bin will probably help. But this is probably the only thing we're going to talk about in this video that will get mixed opinions, because this pales in comparison to what we're going to be talking about in a minute. There was also another video of hers where she spoke about not wanting to buy her toddler a winter coat because it cost $35.
Feels like 8 degrees. And we're venturing out of the house with 2 kids because I am stupid. This is how cold the car is. This is literally rock freaking solid. It turned winter in like 0.2 days, and this kid doesn't have a big jacket, so I need to find him a big jacket. I'm sorry, but I can't spend $35 on a toddler jacket. I know he needs one.
It cuts off there at the end because this is a re-upload, but she goes on to say that I know he needs one, obviously, but it doesn't make sense to me, talking about how $35 is too much for a toddler jacket, which is really wild, because I really hope that she did actually leave that store with a winter coat for him and just didn't film it. $35 for a winter coat for a toddler, can it be a big spend? Yes, but would you rather your child freeze? Hopefully not. Also, when I went through her page, I noticed that she does a lot of sponsored videos, and like we said earlier, she's been getting millions and millions of views. So the TikTok money must be coming in at least a little bit nicely, which makes me think, should she really be complaining about spending $35 on something that is absolutely necessary? I mean, in that short video, she says that it's 8 degrees Fahrenheit, which I've just looked up, and it's minus 13 degrees Celsius, which low-key has changed my whole perspective of that video, because that kid should have been wearing a jacket before it even hit 10 degrees Celsius. But as I was meant to say, she literally shows how a bottle of water froze in their car overnight. So yeah, he definitely needs a jacket, and I really hope in that incident she bought him one. So now we know that Nurse Hannah is no stranger to controversy, but this last one may have pushed the boat too far.
The little mochi ball things are so freaking delicious, and I feel like at this point they're just a Vegas tradition for us. In fact, my husband and I went to Vegas on our honeymoon in 2020.
So as you heard, she's talking about some mochi balls or whatever. The dad brings them over to the son, and then the son reacts, flinches away, and this is what has got people debating whether or not this is normal for a baby to react like this, or if this is a sign of something else. That wasn't just a fast little reaction, that was pure fear. Eye flinch is normal, but the reflex on the hands, oh my goodness, this one's very different from natural flinching. As we'll get into with people's reactions to this incident, there's a big debate over whether or not this is just flinching like anybody would if someone shoved their hand in your face, or if he's bracing for impact, trying to sort of like protect himself because he feels like something worse is going to happen to him and not just have, you know, a box shoved in his face. And people have come out with the Nurse Hannah flinch test, whereby they'll shove their hands into a baby's face, obviously their own, not just random babies, but they'll shove their hand in the baby's face to see if they flinch in the same way.
So for my 1-year-old, I did this to his face and he did this. He was whacking me away. To be fair, he throws hands at me, okay? Tried it on my 2-year-old. This is what she did. I did this to her and she did this. She didn't brace herself. She was just like looking at me like I was crazy, which she had every right to because I was doing something she never experienced before. Now to my 4-year-old, she was 3 a couple days ago. She literally just turned 4. I did this to her. She said, "We don't poke people's faces."
So yeah, pretty much every other video in this sort of trend or challenge is the exact same. They'll shove their hand in the baby or the toddler's face and the baby will kind of just sit there like, why have you done that? So now after doing all these scientific tests, TikTok now feels they have the knowledge that something deeper must be going on, because that toddler flinched, reflexed away, braced for impact, whatever you want to call it, in a way that no other baby has shown through obviously the Nurse Hannah flinch test scientific experiments. This then turned into a wildfire and TikTok went crazy.
So the fact that I even have to address this right now is kind of insane. Social media is just, it's a scary place.
And she goes on to explain that on her TikTok page, she's had a long-running joke that her husband is a lazy husband, and that that's all not true, it's only a joke and people are taking it too serious, and then also that the reason the toddler flinched and braced for impact was from roughhousing and playing with the dad.
If you were to know me in real life, this whole lazy husband thing, it's satire. My husband is the sweetest, nicest, kindest, most loving, most nurturing father in the entire world. He is playing on the ground with James like 90% of the day. If that man is not laughing, having fun, teasing him, playing with him, whatever it is, then I don't know, then something's wrong, because those two have the strongest bond, the strongest father-son bond.
She then continues to say that when they're playing, they're always scaring each other, they're pretending to be dinosaurs, and this is just something that happens.
They're just playing. They're always playing. They're always playing where they scare each other. James is obsessed with dinosaurs and bears, and when they look away and they come back and they scare each other, and they play, like when they throw something, they'll play throw it, you know, you like psych them out, you know, and they flinch and whatever. Like that's what they're always doing. They're always like hiding behind couches and jumping at each other and chasing each other around the house and up the stairs and down the stairs and tackling each other. They're always playing, constantly.
She then talks more about how great her husband is as a father, but using what she said just there, saying that it's just, you know, play fighting and scaring each other, and that's the reason he flinched. I want to take another look at the video and see if that really lines up. Again, for me, the reaction that the boy has in his face, and I'm no facial expression analyst, I'm not a body language expert or any of the above, but to me, it doesn't look like a play reaction, and it doesn't look like a, oh, jump, boo, we've scared each other reaction. It looks like a please don't hit me reaction. And as a dad, I feel like I have a very unique perspective on this because most of the people I've seen talk about it are mums. And also the person in question in the video is the dad. And they're saying that it's just from them playing rough. Now, I play with my daughter pretty much whenever I'm not working. We'll roll around, we'll jump, we'll dance, we'll do all sorts. We'll jump out from around corners and scare each other. And I did this test too. I shoved my hand in her face to see how she would react. And she didn't. I don't think that a baby flinching is necessarily a bad thing, because if someone shoves something in your face, of course you're gonna be like, oh, what's that? But it's the looking up in fear and putting your hands in your face to brace for impact that makes this a much more deep situation than just flinching. Hannah is now under investigation by CPS because of this incident and the amount of people reporting her. People have also started to compare her to Ruby Frankie, who is an ex-Family Channel YouTuber, whatever you want to call it, who back in February was sentenced to 60 years in prison for how she treated her children.
The fact that I'm even being compared right now to Ruby Frankie is absolutely comical. It's hilarious, really. We live in a world nowadays where people will turn nothing into something. We live in a world where people are so desperate to become TikTok famous, they will post about anything in order to get views for themselves. They don't care if it's gonna bring someone down with it, they just wanna become TikTok famous. The fact that my children are happy, they're healthy, well-nourished, they're running around playing, that should be a pretty good indicator that everything's just fine. It's great.
There haven't been any updates on what the investigation by CPS is going to lead to, but we do have a quote from the police department that says, "There is an open, active investigation into Nurse Hannah due to numerous reports through Child Protective Service and police. There is a detective assigned to the case." And honestly, I think that's all we really will hear unless this leads to something conclusive. But where does this leave us? Because we have a mum who is no stranger to controversy, so much so that I'm starting to feel like she does it on purpose. And we also have the question of, was this an isolated flinch, or was it something much worse? Please do let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you think maybe TikTok has overreacted, or do you think this was a red flag waiting to be seen? Whilst you're down there, make sure you subscribe so we can meet again, and I'll see you in the next video. See ya.